about my career, and I thought where to do it. And I thought I'd do it in an ordinary place, just an ordinary, everyday, ordinary place, because that's what I do. I turn the ordinary into extraordinary things. I suppose that's why I've managed to write 750 books, more than anyone else has written in history, more than anyone's ever written on the occult, because I turn the ordinary into extraordinary, so I never run out. And I've written books on all aspects of the occult, not just like satanic, demonic, but angelic, Celtic, Greek, Roman, voodoo, hoodoo, African, folk science, everything imaginable I've written on, because I can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. I turn ordinary everyday things into, and the world around me, into the occult. Which is why I've also written a number of very, very strange books as well, and things which have never happened before, because I turn the thing around me, the ordinary, into extraordinary, paranormal, occult things. It's what I do. Well, how did it start? Well, it started off writing for Finbar Books. That was where it really started. And that was a British publishing company. Those books are still available. They're published by Demonic Dreamers now. And what I did was, I wrote for Finbar Books. The first book I wrote for Finbar Books was called Old Folk Magic. That wasn't its original title. It was originally going to be called Real Magic from Fairy Tales. That was the title. And I went through a number of different titles, and that was Old Folk Magic. Then I wrote Magic Mind Rooms. And that one's about, obviously, the Roman room system, but also about using it for magic. And also how it was used by people to deal with torture, the Roman room system as well. And then there was, I think it was the power of gesture, which is gestures used in magic, gestural magic. And then I wrote a number of books for them. Then I went and wrote for Demonic Dream. No, so it was Soul Vision Publishing then, which is a US publisher. I went from the UK to a US publisher and wrote for them. Then I went to write for Demonic Dreams again and wrote some for them. They're a UK publisher. Then I went back to for Soul Vision Publishing again. There was a gap where I've just wrote for my company, which I own, Weaver Media Limited. And then I went on to write for Soul Vision Publishing again. I wrote hundreds of books for them. Like I said, I've written about 750 books, which is an amazing amount, even to me. What people don't realise is, though, I never actually set out to write 750 books. I was just doing my own thing. See, most of the time I was competing with me, not with anybody else. That's the thing. People imagine you're competing with other people. I compete with other people some of the time, but most of the time I'm competing with me. Because when you're written more than anyone else on a subject, there's no one else to compete with, really. But it's not a good idea to stop either, so you just compete with yourself, you know. And that brings you up to the modern day when I've got The Long Grimoire. And that is a book which is, I think, just over 7 million words, 7,193,205 words long. The longest occult book ever written, possibly the longest non-fiction book ever written. But you know what they're like when it comes to occultism, they don't like to define these things as non-fiction or this and that. They wouldn't like the idea. People generally, if it's the longest non-fiction book being an occult book, but it's certainly the longest occult book ever written, The Long Grimoire. That's available now, and that is really is a lot of my past work. Not all of it, but a lot of it put together in a format whereby it becomes a really good encyclopedia for magic. If you want an overall encyclopedia, then that's what you want. You want The Long Grimoire. Good to learn from, good to refer to, you know, give you a really good grasp of my system of magic. Hope you have a good day.